Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome to Soul Shift Messages. If you found your way here, trust there's something in this message for you. Understand this space is about growth, truth, and transformation. We don't bypass here, we don't sugarcoat, and not every message will feel comfortable, but it will be honest. I speak in flow, and that sometimes includes cussing. It's just part of how the messages come through. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and trust your own discernment above all else. Take a deep breath, and let's begin. If you are new here, please know at this time I post weekly content in 3 parts. Part 1 focuses on what needs to be revealed. Part 2 focuses on what needs to be understood, tends to be a deeper dive on what was covered in Part 1. And Part 3 focuses on what needs to be done. Essentially, what action do we need to take in order to embody what we're discussing that week. And based on when you find this, you'll either find links to all the available content in the description box below, or you'll find dates of when to expect it. And I'm pretty consistent about going back and updating those links as the new content becomes available. So check below if it's not there yet. It's coming. Just give it some time. All right. I am just going to let you know, I usually don't like to make video content where I mostly have to read messages, but the last couple of videos, if the messages are of a certain length and reach a certain depth, I am going to focus more on reading them, really to deliver the message the way it needs to be delivered, in the fullness it needs to be delivered, and try to respect your time as well. You know, both our time is valuable. So if I do them at my pace and the way I want to, the videos will easily be over an hour long. So unfortunately, you know, just with the way they've been working out, these are really important topics. There's a lot of great information in these messages, and I can't shorten them. They'll lose their effectiveness if I break them up into different videos. So just work with me at this time. Hopefully I'll get to a point where we get through some of the deep stuff and I can get back to having more interactive content. But until then, thank you for bearing with me. But as I've said before, it's really about delivering these messages more than it is about me. So, all right, all of that to be said, this is going to be part 2 for this week. And I am calling this one The Difference Between Love and Entanglement. Also, I'm going to do my best to not fidget with my hair. I pulled it back, and I'm probably going to forget I did it. So if you see me looking awkward, it's probably just out of habit, me playing with my hair. So we're going to roll with it. All right, so let's get going. At the center of this message is a profound lesson between loving people and becoming emotionally and energetically fused with them. You are naturally, deeply receptive, emotionally perceptive, compassionate, intuitive, and sensitive to the inner emotional states of others. People likely feel emotionally safe around you very quickly. They may feel seen, understood, soothed, emotionally held, psychologically safe, spiritually recognized, or comforted by your presence. Because of this, people often unconsciously bring their pain, loneliness, confusion, fear, instability, emotional wounds, unresolved trauma, emotional chaos, or inner emptiness into your space. Your sensitivity itself is not the problem. The deeper issue is that your emotional and energetic boundaries have become too permeable, creating patterns where you do not simply empathize with others, you absorb them. I'm hearing you heard that right. You absorb them. You don't know you do this. Anytime I say unconsciously in this message, no, that is without your direct recognition of doing it. All right, if you consciously knew you were doing it, it would be at the front of your mind. Unconsciously, not even thinking about it. It's almost like an autopilot function. And that's why we need to do this series, because how do we take it out of autopilot? Bring it right to the forefront, bring it right to the conscious mind, and force the subconscious mind to reconcile the two. There's some magic going on here. All right, this message is about learning the difference between empathy and emotional absorption, intimacy and fusion, helping and carrying, understanding and over-identifying, and love and emotional dependency. You are being shown how emotional and energetic entanglement forms, what sustains it, why it becomes exhausting, and how to recognize the difference between healthy connection and unhealthy attachment. At the deepest level, this is about reclaiming ownership of your own inner world. I'm hearing stewards of your own ship. Compassion has turned into emotional and energetic over-identification. There is a strong pattern of becoming deeply intertwined with people who are emotionally wounded, psychologically overwhelmed, spiritually depleted, emotionally unstable, lonely, internally fragmented, emotionally unavailable, or disconnected from themselves. You likely feel instinctively drawn toward helping, stabilizing, understanding, comforting, rescuing, guiding, or emotionally carrying these people. And I'm hearing cast a wide net with this. This likely goes beyond your partners. Think your friends, your family. For some of you, it's coworkers. Cast a wide net. This is not the time to be narrowing with this. If you are energetically entangled with one person, it goes beyond that. It's the same thing when I talked about the codependency series. If you are codependent with one person, you are codependent with multiple people. It's no this or that. This is really kind of an all or nothing thing. And that is part of the reason why this absolutely needs to be addressed at this time, because this shit not sustainable. And I can tell you from personal experience. Absolutely exhausting. All right. Some of these relationships probably formed through shared suffering, emotional intensity, mutual loneliness, emotional vulnerability, trauma bonding, crisis, deep emotional disclosure, or the feeling that someone deeply needed you. But over time, many of these relationships became unbalanced. Instead of mutual support, the relationship slowly organizes itself around your emotional labor, patience, ability to understand complexity, willingness to absorb emotional impact, forgiveness, flexibility, emotional regulation, ability to calm chaos, and your willingness to continue trying. Meanwhile, the other person may unconsciously rely on your emotional strength instead of developing emotional responsibility themselves. This creates emotional and energetic dependency. Some people may attach to your energy not because they are aligned with your growth, but because your presence temporarily relieves their inner emptiness, instability, confusion, loneliness, emotional fragmentation, or unresolved pain. This does not necessarily make them intentionally manipulative. Much of this can happen unconsciously, but unconscious dependency still drains life force. Say it again. Unconscious dependency still drains life force. You are being shown the difference between supporting someone and becoming responsible for emotionally holding them together. And I'm hearing, don't get it twisted. That is exactly what it is. I just heard lie to yourself, not us. I'm sorry. We've been doing a lot of energetic work over here. We are sassy as shit lately. We work hard, we play hard too. You have been functioning as an... Give me a second. Alrighty. Odd way to make me take some water, but whatever. All right, you have been functioning as an emotional translator. One of the deepest hidden patterns is that you may unconsciously act as an interpreter for other people's emotions, contradictions, wounds, and behaviors. You may constantly try to understand why someone behaves the way they do. Explain harmful behavior through their pain. See the wound underneath dysfunction. Locate the fear underneath inconsistency, or translate emotional chaos into something understandable. This ability likely developed early as a survival skill, a way to create emotional safety, maintain connection, avoid abandonment, or preserve harmony. It gave you emotional intelligence and empathy. But it also created a pattern where you remain emotionally invested in people long after their behavior has already revealed the truth. You may prioritize potential, hidden pain, imagined future healing. Emphasis on imagined. Oh, shit. They also said emphasis on healing. Imagined healing. We're sassy as shit over here today. All right. That's their way of saying some of you are imagining future healing for people who are just never going to do it. That's really what that message is. It's not just imagined future healing, like it's just imagined healing. I'm hearing they're not going to do it. I don't know who that's for, but I'm hearing you're going to feel that in your heart space. If that's for you. If you were thinking of someone specific or certain people and you felt that in your heart space, that's for you. We are snatching asses today. Let's keep it moving. All right. Emotional complexity, or what someone could become. Say it again. Yep, because I broke the flow. You may prioritize potential, hidden pain, imagined future healing, emotional complexity, or what someone could become over present reality. This message makes something very clear. Understanding someone's wounds does not obligate you to remain connected to their harmful behavior. Say that again. Okay. Understanding someone's wounds does not obligate you to remain connected to their harmful behavior. Compassion and access are not the same thing. You may have learned to associate love with emotional intensity. One of the deepest underlying themes is that emotional intensity may have become associated with meaning, importance, spiritual significance, emotional depth, or real love. This can create unconscious attraction toward emotionally unavailable people, psychologically complicated people, chaotic relationships, emotionally unstable dynamics, confusing emotional situations, or relationships filled with longing, unpredictability, and emotional struggle. I done fucked that up. Give me a second. This can create unconscious attraction toward emotionally unavailable people, psychologically complicated people, chaotic relationships, emotionally unstable dynamics, confusing emotional situations, or relationships filled with longing, unpredictability, and emotional struggle. Part of you may have learned to interpret emotional labor, suffering, longing, emotional chaos, unpredictability, obsession, or constant emotional processing as evidence that a relationship matters deeply. But this message repeatedly challenges that belief. Intensity is not always intimacy. Sometimes intensity is trauma familiarity, nervous system activation, emotional unpredictability, attachment wounds, intermittent emotional reward, emotional survival dynamics, or unresolved pain disguised as connection. Healthy connection often feels very different. It may initially feel calmer, simpler, quieter, steadier, emotionally breathable, less consuming, or even unfamiliar. But that quietness is not emptiness. It's safety. Some relationships are built more on wounds than alignment. Not all deep feeling relationships are healthy or spiritually aligned. Some connections form because wounds recognize wounds. I'm hearing this is what trauma bonding is. Shared suffering can create illusion of soul level connection. This can feel like psychic familiarity, emotional gravity, compulsive attachment, inability to let go, emotional obsession, or believing a connection must be fated because it feels emotionally powerful. Babies, I'm going to stop right there and just tell you the most emotionally powerful connection I felt was by far the most fucked up one of my life. And thank goodness I did not let that shit progress very far. Don't get me wrong, the energetic entanglement happened, but the closest that motherfucker got to me was a handshake. All right? That was the one who made me step my whole ass out of dating. I did not know why, but I was like, there is something in my energy that is attracting this shit my way, and I just gotta take myself whole ass out of this until I figure out what it is. And you know what? It's this. That's exactly this. All right? So check those emotions. I'm not joking. I'm very grateful it didn't progress any further than that, but holy shit, there was a lot I needed to heal from that. But yeah, that actually was the catalyst to my awakening, was just how fucked up energetically and emotionally that was. To this day, it just blows my mind, but I digress. Let's keep it going. This actually proves my point. But emotional intensity alone is not proof of health. And I said, say it again. Emotional intensity alone is not proof of health. Some relationships continue because they are sustained by guilt, pain, emotional chaos, unresolved longing, rescuing, obligation, conflict, fear of abandonment, emotional dependency, or mutual instability. Not all energetic cords are loving cords. Some are maintained by unresolved emotional charge. Conflict can become attachment. People do not only become emotionally attached through love. Conflict can bind people together just as strongly. Some emotional entanglements are sustained through resentment, frustration, betrayal, wounded pride, unresolved anger, emotional resistance, disappointment, competition, or the need for acknowledgement and closure. You may still feel psychically or emotionally connected to people you are internally fighting with, trying to understand, trying to save, trying to prove yourself to, or trying to receive validation from. Emotionally charged conflict creates energetic hooks. Some relationships persist not because they are aligned, but because the emotional charge has never fully settled. Conflict itself can become attachment. Your nervous system has been living in emotional vigilance. A very deep layer suggests your nervous system has adapted to continuous emotional scanning. You may unconsciously monitor people's moods, subtle shifts in tone, emotional withdrawal, tension, disappointment, instability, emotional undercurrents, or signs that someone may become reactive, disconnected, upset, or emotionally unsafe. This may happen so automatically, so fast, that you no longer notice you're even doing it. Autopilot. You may walk into environments and immediately begin emotionally calibrating, adjusting yourself, softening tension, preparing for reactions, or trying to maintain emotional harmony. Part of your nervous system may feel responsible for managing the emotional atmosphere around you. This creates chronic vigilance and exhaustion. Your body may rarely feel fully relaxed because part of you is always scanning for emotional disruption. You are being guided to stop functioning as an emotional early warning system for everyone around you. You have been internalizing other people's emotional states. Another powerful pattern is the tendency to unconsciously convert other people's emotions into self-responsibility. For example, someone withdraws emotionally turns into you wonder what you did wrong. Someone becomes unstable turns into you trying harder to stabilize them. Someone becomes cold or inconsistent and you overanalyze yourself. Someone behaves chaotically and you attempt to create emotional order. Or someone struggles emotionally and you feel responsible for helping. Babies, I'm here. No one asked you to do this job. No one told you to do this job, and no one is sure shit paying you to do this. I'm just here and put this down. This was never meant to be yours. I'm here now is as good a time as ever. Instead of seeing this person is disconnected from themselves, you may instinctively think, I need to understand this better, or I need to help fix this. Over time, this blurs the line between compassion and self-abandonment. Other people's instability slowly becomes something you carry inside of yourself. You have been trying to earn mutuality. One of the deepest emotional layers here is the possibility that part of you has unconsciously been trying to earn reciprocity. You may overgive because some part of you hopes if you understand enough, love enough, stay patient enough, carry enough, remain compassionate enough, or hold enough emotional space, then the other person will meet you at the same emotional depth. But many people cannot reciprocate what they have not developed within themselves. Say it again. But many people cannot reciprocate what they have not developed within themselves. This creates profound grief because you may repeatedly pour emotional energy into relationships that cannot truly return what you are offering. I'm here and it's not me, it's you. Not because you are unworthy, but because emotional capacity must exist on both sides. You cannot build mutual emotional depth alone. It is not possible. You may be confusing being needed with being loved. Some relationships may have made you feel important because you were needed, emotionally central, depended on, stabilizing, rescuing, or carrying emotional weight. This can create a powerful sense of purpose and attachment, but being needed is not always the same thing as being deeply loved, emotionally seen, or mutually cared for. Some people become intensely attached to whoever helps regulate their emotional pain. That attachment can feel urgent, consuming, emotionally powerful, spiritually significant, or deeply binding. But if the relationship depends primarily on your emotional labor, then the connection may be more rooted in dependency than mutual wholeness. You are being asked to examine where have you mistaken emotional dependency for intimacy. Emotional and energetic entanglement creates internal confusion. One of the strongest themes here is emotional and psychological cross-contamination. You may often experience emotional overwhelm, anxiety that appears suddenly, intrusive thoughts, emotional heaviness, exhaustion after interacting with certain people, confusion about your own feelings, mental fog, difficulty trusting your intuition, overthinking, emotional looping, or feeling fragmented internally. This message strongly suggests not every feeling you carry actually belongs to you. You genuinely have other people's shit in your energy, and that creates confusion. You cannot resolve shit that is not actually yours. It does not work that way. You gotta send that shit back. We'll get into that as part of this series, but not everything is yours. That's why some of you are like, I was in a good fucking mood and I talked to this person. What the fuck happened? You took their shit on. And if you recognize that, just say, I send it back. I send it back. I release what is not mine and return it. Okay? Because you are highly receptive, you may unconsciously absorb other people's emotions, fears, anger, expectations, projections, nervous system states, or unresolved emotional residue. Over time, this creates internal static. Why? Because you got so much shit in your energy, you don't know what's yours and what's not. It's confusing. How is clarity supposed to come in when it's all gunked up in there? All right? The more unresolved emotional cords and attachments you carry, the harder it becomes to hear your own inner voice clearly. There's just no fucking room for it. All right? And that's why you're listening to this, because whether you identify it with or not, I'm hearing your higher self, Your spirit guides, they are trying real fucking hard to get through to you, and they just can't. That's why they're leading you to this video, because they're trying to bring this to your attention so you can clear this out. Listen, I just work here. I get these messages, I deliver them. I just work here. All right? Your intuition has been competing with emotional attachment. Another important layer is your intuition has likely been correct more than your emotional attachment wanted to admit. Part of you already sensed imbalance, inconsistency, emotional unavailability, manipulation through helplessness, hidden motives, emotional instability, or lack of reciprocity. But attachment, compassion, hope, longing, or fear of letting go have overridden your inner knowing. That's why they're saying lie to yourself. You can lie to yourself, but you can't lie to us. This created internal conflict. Your intuition says one thing. Your emotional attachment says another. Empathy says another. And fear says another. Over time, this weakens trust in your own perception. Your intuition did not fail. It did not fail. Emotional entanglement created too much noise around it. As disentanglement happens, your intuition becomes quieter, cleaner, faster, calmer, and more trustworthy again. Clear the shit. Let the clarity come through. Attention itself can sustain energetic cords. Energetic attachment is not only emotional, it is also mental. Some entanglements continue because of sustained attention. This includes replaying conversations, mentally revisiting relationships, obsessively analyzing people, trying to decode mixed signals, imagining future interactions, emotionally rehearsing unresolved dynamics, or monitoring someone psychologically. I don't know who needs to hear this. Stop fucking stalking your ex. Someone's got some very pissed off ancestors. I'm hearing they weren't shit before you. They weren't shit while they were dating you. And they're still not shit. I'm literally hearing when the garbage man shows up and takes your trash, you don't run after them to collect it back. I'm hearing the universe did you a whole fucking solid favor with that. Honor it. I work here. Talk to your ancestors about it. Alrighty. Are we good with that? You're welcome. All right. I lost my place. Even after physical separation, emotional ties can remain active because your mind continues feeding them. Energy follows attention. Some of you know the saying, where attention goes, energy flows. Yes, absolutely. That is always true. Does that mean you need to police your thoughts 24/7? No, that is not it. But if you catch yourself slipping, thinking about a past relationship, whether that's a friend or anything like that, they just want you to catch it. I'm hearing you can release them with love. This isn't about stopping caring about people. It has nothing to do with that, but you can wish them well and release them with love to make sure that you don't reattach any cords. But I'm just hearing, let what is complete be complete. Don't reopen old shit, and don't feed old shit that is meant to die. Some relationships are no longer sustained externally at all. They are being sustained internally through repeated emotional and mental engagement. You can let this shit go at any time. You just have to make the decision and align your actions with it. Confusion is not the same thing as depth. There is a major warning against confusing emotional complexity with meaningful connection. And listen, we've all been there before. This is about learning, growing, and doing better, making better decisions moving forward, all right? We all slip. We all got an ex that we don't really want to claim, all right? It's normal. It's normal. But it's about learning, maturing, and making better decisions, all right? Some people may present mixed signals, emotional inconsistency, indirect communication, hidden resentment, emotional masking, passive dependency, confusion, psychological fragmentation, or emotional unavailability. You may feel compelled to decode them, emotionally reach them, rescue them, understand them, or search for hidden meaning beneath the confusion. But confusion itself can become a binding force. Some relationships persist precisely because clarity is continually avoided. This message is not going to be for everyone, but they want me to say it because it is going to resonate with some people, and for others it will just make sense. But some of you may be familiar with the saying, God is not the author of confusion. Some of you may want to say source is not the author of confusion, the universe, however it works for you. But anything that is divine, truly aligned, anything of that flavor is not confusing. It's not confusing. All right. If it's confusing, take a good hard look at it. That's an indicator that you got to look a little harder. Someone could be watching The Princess and the Frog. I just heard Dig a Little Deeper, that song. Or at least the line from that song. All right. You are being guided away from interpreting emotional inconsistency, chaos, confusion, or unpredictability as signs of destiny or emotional depth. Sometimes confusion simply means the relationship lacks alignment. The person lacks emotional readiness. Listen, there are adults who are at the maturity level of children. I'm hearing leave them alone. You could be looking at a grown-ass person who is still not emotionally ready. And I'm hearing it's totally fine. You don't need to judge them. You can just leave them alone. And that's your recommendation. Just leave them alone. Just understand that's not for you and keep it moving. Honesty is missing. Emotional integrity is absent. Or the connection is not healthy. Confusion is a sign to pause and look deeper. They're just saying, we would never send you anything that's confusing. And they're saying if something is confusing, ask for clarity. And if you don't get genuine clarity, it's still confusing. Go right back to confusing and hit the pause button. All right? Mixed signals, confusion, and inconsistency is all information. You cannot create clarity inside someone else's confusion. Say it again. You cannot create clarity inside another person's confusion. I heard point blank, period. And I heard a mic drop. Listen. You seek resolution through understanding. Another deep layer of this message suggests when relationships become painful or confusing, you instinctively try to resolve pain through deeper understanding. You may believe if you fully understand the person, the wound, or the contradiction, then peace or resolution will finally come. But some people remain emotionally fragmented, no matter how deeply they are understood. Babies, we are all responsible for our own healing, whether we actually choose to do that or not. You cannot love someone into healing themselves if they have no interest in doing it. And I don't care if that's a platonic love or if that's a romantic love. You cannot love someone into doing that if they have no intention of doing it. Sometimes loving someone is genuinely loving them for who they are. And if you realize that you cannot grow with them and they cannot meet your needs, sometimes the best way you love that person is to let them go and wish them well with someone who can meet them at the level they're at, and open yourself up to someone who can meet your needs. You're more than worthy of that. You just have to decide that you're worthy of that and take the action to make that happen. Okay? All right. This creates endless emotional looping because your mind keeps searching for final insight that will restore stability. But closure doesn't always come from understanding everything. Sometimes closure comes from accepting what repeatedly harms, destabilizes, confuses, or drains you. You got a right to protect your peace. You have a right to protect your life force. Your energy has become fragmented across too many unresolved dynamics. Part of your emotional energy may still be tied to former partners, unresolved family roles, emotionally unfinished friendships, people you have tried to save, people who misunderstood you, unresolved conflict, or people whose emotions you still carry internally. This creates fragmentation. Instead of your energy being fully available to your life, body, future, creativity, peace, joy, desires, and present reality, parts of it remain psychologically occupied elsewhere. This may create emotional exhaustion, psychic heaviness, feeling split internally, difficulty moving forward. That's interesting. I heard difficulty moving on. That's for someone. Lack of clarity or inability to feel fully present. You are being asked to reclaim your energy and return fully into your own life. I'm hearing that's what this series is going to aim to ultimately do. I'm hearing, and all you got to do is listen to it. They're funny. They said, tell a friend. Oh, because I won't promote myself like that. You're right. Tell a friend. Family, conditioning, and identity patterns may be involved. Some of these patterns likely go deeper than current relationships alone. Some of you, this is ancestral. Some of you, this is generational. If that doesn't make sense to you, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Some of you absolutely recognize this. You may have learned early in life that your worth came from helping, emotional caretaking, understanding others, sacrifice. There's so much sacrificial shit that gets glorified in this experience. It is nauseating. I'm hearing, don't fall for it. Maintaining harmony, emotional accommodation, or stabilizing other people emotionally. This can create beliefs such as, I must carry others to be loved. Love requires emotional labor. I am responsible for emotional harmony. If someone is suffering, I must help. Or, understanding people keeps me safe. These beliefs can unconsciously organize relationship dynamics for years. Some people, it's been 4 lifetimes, 4 generations. Some of you are going to start seeing shit you just cannot unsee and be like, oh, hell no. And I'm hearing you are supposed to see that. Why? Because that is not supposed to be that's not supposed to be your fate in this lifetime. That's why that's being highlighted to you. They want you to clock this shit to get out of it because you are meant to get out of it. There is deep grief underneath these patterns. Underneath everything is genuinely grief. I'm hearing whether you believe that or not, that's not a debate. Grief over emotional exhaustion, years spent carrying others, unequal relationships, emotional overextension, self-abandonment, unmet emotional needs, confusion mistaken for love, emotional survival mode, or realizing some relationships could never become what you hoped they would. This grief matters because it clears illusion. Say it again. This grief matters because it clears illusion. It allows you to stop romanticizing suffering and begin valuing peace. Babies, you were never put here to suffer. It is a lie. You were never meant to suffer. You were never meant to sacrifice yourself so others around you could thrive while you fucking starved. Peace is becoming more attractive than emotional chaos. You are entering a phase where peace feels more nourishing than emotional drama. Clarity feels better than obsession. Consistency feels safer than unpredictability. Groundedness feels healthier than emotional highs and lows. And reciprocity matters more than emotional intensity. I'm hearing this is intentional. You are not meant to overlook this. This is emotional maturation. Your system is beginning to recognize healthy love does not constantly destabilize you. Healthy love looks very different from energetic entanglement. And I'm hearing we have to go over this. We have to go to this depth because some of you, your ancestors are working fucking overtime to bring in a healthy love for you, and they need you to move some shit. If they have to move it themselves, they will, but they want your help, and babies work with your ancestors, not against them. All right? Again, if that makes sense to you, take it. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. I'm hearing they're helping either way. Healthy connection does not usually feel obsessive, chaotic, psychologically consuming, emotionally destabilizing, confusing, exhausting, or dramatically intense. Healthy relationships feel emotionally honest, grounded, calm, clear, mutually supportive, direct, breathable, reciprocal, and energetically clean. Why? Because energetic sovereignty. If two people have energetic sovereignty and emotional sovereignty, this enmeshment shit cannot happen. It cannot. The energy between the two people do not support entanglement, enmeshment, none of that shit. It is energetically not possible. I'm hearing you will notice the difference immediately. Even if it feels unfamiliar, that energetically clean part, you're gonna clock that shit immediately. I'm hearing the word refreshing. When you meet these people who can meet you at the level you're at, I'm hearing it's gonna be refreshing. I'm hearing, wow, that was easy. Okay. All right. Healthy love increases vitality rather than draining life force. True intimacy does not require suffering, confusion, rescuing, self-erasure, emotional captivity, or chronic depletion. Healthy connection allows both people to remain whole individuals while loving each other deeply. It is that energetic and emotional sovereignty. It does not mean that you do not love each other any less. It is that you are both within wholeness in your own energy and you still love each other. There is no dependency. They just keep saying it is just more beautiful than you could ever imagine. They're saying you just have to experience it to really understand. But I'm hearing like, yeah, they're just saying like it's hard to describe in human words. It needs to be felt. It's a somatic thing. I'm hearing if you open yourself up to receive that, you will understand what that means when it comes in. Emotional access must become more selective. You naturally give people emotional, psychological, spiritual, and empathic access very quickly and very deeply. I'm hearing that is not a criticism of you. It's to raise awareness that you actually do this. All right. But emotional trust must become more intentional and earned. It's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to let people learn who you are slowly. Not everyone deserves to have full access to you that quickly. Make them earn it. I'm hearing that's not mean. That is not cruel. That's just your protective boundary doing exactly what it needs to do. You are being guided to pay closer attention to consistency, accountability, reciprocity, emotional maturity, groundedness, honesty, nervous system safety, and whether someone takes responsibility for their own emotions. Not everyone who feels emotionally intense is emotionally safe. Say it again. Not everyone who feels emotionally intense is emotionally safe. Boundaries are emotional and spiritual hygiene. Add a period. They are. Boundaries are emotional and spiritual hygiene. Keep your shit clean. It will save you a whole lot of headaches. You are being guided towards stronger emotional and energetic sovereignty. That's the whole fucking goal. All right? This does not mean becoming cold, isolated, or emotionally closed. The message is not stop loving. It's stop abandoning yourself while loving. Healthy boundaries are protection of your clarity, care for your nervous system, emotional honesty, energetic stewardship, and conscious choice about who receives access to your inner world. Your inner world is precious. Don't be letting everyone in there, all right? Not everyone deserves unrestricted access to your emotional energy. Treat your shit like gold. Treat it like the luxury it actually is. A rebuilding of self is happening. At the deepest level, this process involves reclaiming an identity that became too entangled with other people's wounds, emotions, instability, expectations, needs, and unresolved pain. You are rediscovering your own emotional center, intuition, desires, rhythms, peace, grounded presence, and internal authority. This is why this message repeatedly points toward groundedness, solitude without isolation, embodiment, nervous system recovery, emotional simplification. Get down to what the fuck is actually yours and deal with it. All right? It's a lot easier to clear shit when you're like, okay, this is mine. This is actually mine. And we can resolve it. All right, energetic clarity and more selective connection. It's gonna be quality over quantity moving forward if you're listening to this. It doesn't mean you can't be friendly with other people, but I'm just hearing inner circles of any kind are gonna get smaller, and that's okay. That's totally fine. You are being guided back into your own life, future, joy, peace, wholeness, and your body. All this energy makes it very hard to be embodied and stay in your body and trust your body, right? Confusion can hit a somatic level with this shit. There's a reason this needs to be tackled to the breadth and depth that I'm doing it. Not because you are meant to disconnect from humanity. It has nothing to do with that. We are built for connection. We really are. Doesn't mean we connect with everybody, but because your inner world needs space to become fully yours again. The final core truth underneath everything is this: love does not require you to disappear. Compassion does not require emotional self-sacrifice. And understanding someone does not obligate you to remain connected to what harms you. For some of you, this is who harms you. You are not meant to become the emotional processing center for everyone around you. Spend your life decoding emotionally unavailable people and carry unresolved pain that does not belong to you. You are being guided toward relationships where emotional responsibility exists on both sides. Clarity replaces confusion. Reciprocity replaces imbalance. Peace replaces emotional vigilance. And intimacy exists without loss of self. The transformation happening right now is the movement from I merge in order to be loved toward I remain fully myself while loving deeply. That is the deeper form of intimacy your life is moving toward. I'm hearing allow it, make room for it. All right, that's all I've got, babies. I'm sure that message was long enough as it is. I will be back later this week to deliver part 3, which is going to focus on what needs to be done. And after that, we'll switch to a new topic, which I will be announcing in the posts tomorrow. So if you're interested in knowing what that is, take a look at that. Otherwise, you'll find out soon enough. All right. I'm going to leave it there. Take care of yourselves, beautiful beings. And until next time, bye.